So let's start with a quick poll. A poll by show of hands. How many of you have ever felt that if you could fix that just one thing in your life, everything else will fall in place? By show of hands, please. That's great. And thank you for being honest. And the ones whose hand wasn't up, I must congratulate you. Because I think you are an evolved soul. Or maybe you're in denial. Good afternoon, Bhopal. Good afternoon, Sage. If today my story relates to yours, I'll be happy. If today you learn something new, I'll be delighted. But that's not my agenda today. My agenda today is not to impress you, not to give you those tips and tricks. My agenda today is to shift your mindset, to empower you to rewrite your story, so that each one of you out there can evolve into your best versions. Let me take you back to my story from 2012. That was a moment when I thought that I had it all figured out. I had a perfect life, a wonderful flourishing career, a very loving husband, 2 beautiful daughters, yet I was trapped. I was trapped not in my responsibilities. I was trapped not in my work. I was trapped not even in my life. I was trapped in my own negative thoughts, in my own limiting beliefs. Back then, I was 98. And for cricket, it might be a good score, but definitely not on a weighing scale. And this was the reason why I was trapped. That inner chatter was so disturbing that I can't tell you. I had convinced myself that my weight is the only thing that is standing between me and my joy. If my husband went for a party alone, my inner chatter would say, because you're fat. If my daughter asked not to come for a PTM this time because it is not important, that chatter would say, because you're overweight. That chatter was so loud, so illogical, that even when once I got a promotion and somebody made a very casual remark, directors वजनदारी अच्छे लगते हैं. Instead of celebrating that moment, I was fixated on that one word, वजनदार. And this is what happens to you when you let your insecurities define you. Even a compliment can sound like an insult. So the seed of these insecurities were sown somewhere in my childhood. And I very distinctly remember this. Once I went for a party with my parents wearing that beautiful pink dress. And some random uncle just came and advised my parents, थोड़ा dieting वाइटिंग कराओ इसको. The next day when I came back from my school, there was a wonderful gift box lying in my wardrobe. I was excited. I just opened the box, pulled that dress up. What? It was a salwar kameez. And these gift boxes kept on coming, kept on coming. And when I was 12, not only my entire wardrobe was salwar kameez, my birthday dress was one. And these incidents kept on happening and piling up. And one day, in a very, very, very desperate moment, I decided to go under the knife. And in just 4 months, I was half of myself. I was 55. I was 55. Thank you. But here is the catch. I was not feeling like a Bollywood heroine then also. Still, there were things that I was insecure about. And the only thing that changed was the names of my insecurities. Now my insecurities had names like thin hair and this saggy arm. And that was a moment of truth for me. My saggy arms and thin hair gave me the perspective that nothing else, even a near-death experience during my surgery could. That happiness is not how I look. Happiness is about how I feel about myself. Happiness is an inside job. And that's when my journey of transformation began. And that's when I started focusing on, instead of fixing myself, to finding myself. And today, I stand before you at the age of 50, weighing 68, happier, healthier, and more confident than ever. Not because how I look, but because how I feel. How I feel. But because of how I feel. Because of that shift in the mindset. Because of the change in my perspective. Because now I have my purpose. Because now I'm living what I love and loving what I do. So this is what is all, hello, okay. So this is what my talk is all about. I want to share how these real lasting transformation happen in your life. So when I was on the journey of transformation, I realized that there are 3 big C's that can help you change anything, almost anything in your life. And the most important thing is, these 3 C's also align beautifully well with today's philosophy, today's theme of talk, ancient philosophy, Sat, Chit, Anand. Sat meaning truth, consciousness, and bliss. And my 3 C's are clarity, courage, and consistency. Let's break it down and understand how these help. Clarity. Imagine yourself driving a car with a dirty windshield. Everything out there is blurry, but you're driving. You're missing the turns, but you're driving. You're making mistakes. You're making wrong decisions. Still, you're driving. You're wasting a lot of time. Still, you're driving. And this is what happens to us, most of us, when we don't have clarity. We just live our lives. For example, I was thinking that my weight was a problem for a very long time, but clearly it was not. Though I had ticked all the boxes that society had given me for the perfect life, but I was not aware what I wanted. The problem was, I didn't know what mattered to me. And when you don't know what you want, you settle for anything that comes your way, right? Let's try something. Let me ask you a question, not a question rather, let me ask you to participate with me in a small little exercise. Can I request each one of you to just close your eyes for a moment. Close your eyes for a moment and ask yourself a question. Ask yourself, if time, money, and fear are not a factor, what would you be doing today? I'll repeat the question. If time, money, and fear are not the factors, what would you be doing today? That answer that you got right now is your truth, is your sat, is your purpose. And if you are not living it, it's time to change. My purpose was clear. I want to evolve and help people evolve by challenging their limiting beliefs. But let's be honest, clarity is very scary. The moment you get the clarity, the moment you know what you want to do, the moment you know what you need to do, that mind starts playing games with you. It starts asking you questions. What if? What if I fail? Is this worth it? Am I good enough? It's too risky. It's too hard. And a lot more. And you know what? The longer you wait, longer this list will become. You will have more reasons, more excuses there. And this is where you need the third C of the framework, courage. Courage to choose yourself. Courage to say no. Courage to rise above all the excuses, all the blame game, all the complaints that you are making. And courage to take responsibility of your life. Nelson Mandela has said that courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. So you need courage. Courage can be associated with chit, with consciousness, because courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. So when you are aware, when you are conscious about your actions, when you are aware, when you are conscious about your fear, when you are aware, when you are conscious about your feelings, you are feeling right now in that fear, still, yet, you consciously choose that first step. You consciously choose to take that step towards your greatness. That's courage. And for me, that first courageous step in the journey of my transformation was leaving my stable job and pursuing my passion. You would ask, was it easy? Absolutely not. It was very, very, very scary. But as I moved ahead, with every step, I realized this was not only about me. This was about everyone out there who needed someone. Someone to listen when they were sad. Someone to push them when they were unsure about their choices. And someone to believe in them when they had lost all hopes. And that's why I also documented some of these stories in my book, Supercharge Your Destiny, to help everyone out there, each one of you out there, who want to transform, who want to change, who want to evolve into your best versions. Now comes the third C. The C, consistency. We all like and love these big plans, right? I want to evolve, I want to go on the journey of greatness. But what happens? What is the reality? I decide I will wake up 5 in the morning, go gymming, come back and meditate, and read at least one book a week on Monday. And then comes a Wednesday and I start snoozing that alarm off, right? Because my dear friends, all of us are living two lives. A life that we're actually living, and the other one which we want to live, which we are capable of living. And between the two is a trench of resistance. And this trench can only be filled by the third C, consistency. Consistency is the only bridge between what you are, who you are, to what you want to be, who you can be. Are you with me? Yes. So consistency is the only bridge between who you are to who you can be. Consistency can also be associated with what is our last Sat Chit Anand, the Anand. It can also be associated with Anand, because consistency comes when you start enjoying all those small little steps that are boring, that are unglamorous, but you do it every day, and then you create a massive change. That is consistency, because bliss or Anand is not in that destination. Anand or bliss is in the journey itself. And that's what happened when I aligned my passion with my life. I was complete. Now I was not searching for balance, not chasing balance, because I realized balance is an illusion. I realized that balance is an illusion. The more important thing is knowing what you want, prioritizing it, and doing it. And when your work fuels your life, and when your life fuels your work back, who needs that balance? Because now your life, there's freedom in your life. There's a beautiful, effortless harmony in the life and work. But here's a catch. It is not that easy. Change is difficult, very difficult. So I must tell you, I would suggest whenever you decide to change, whenever you decide to transform, whenever you decide to evolve, seek support. Support of a friend who is sitting out there, who cries, who laughs with you. Support, unconditional support of family. And most importantly, support of a coach, of a mentor who believes in you before even you can. A coach who asks you right questions. Those questions that shift your perspective, and their answers that give you the breakthrough through difficult situations. And I would credit my entire journey of evolution, of transformation, to those two questions my coach had asked. Number one, who is Swati without all these insecurities? And number two, what would you do if you had a perfectly toned body? These two questions changed everything for me. Everything. I rewrote my story. And this new story gave me purpose. Purpose gave me a lot of courage. And with consistency, we made this change, we made this evolution, we made this transformation happen. My new story was the starting point to evolve to what I can be. And now, I just want you to ask, I want to ask you this question. I would like to leave you with this question. What's your story that is holding you back? And most importantly, are you ready to change it? Are you ready to rewrite it? If your answer is yes, let's evolve together and change the world. Thank you. Thank you.